and welcome to Planet Nola. I'm your host, Mary Jacobs. This is the podcast where I talk to people in New Orleans that I think are cool or doing cool things, just some people I'd like to shine some light on. Today we have a very special guest. I'm so honored to introduce you to one of my oldest friends, Jasmine Johnson.
Hi, guys.
Jasmine is, just one of my oldest friends. We had a cancellation. I was going to have you on this podcast no matter what, but we had a cancellation today, and I called you and said, will you please come?
Because we were supposed to do this, a couple weeks ago?
We were supposed to do this a few weeks ago, and so I didn't. This one was not planned, and you showed up, and I'm very. As you pointed out, you were 10 minutes early.
10 minutes early. For anyone who knows me, that's a gift. That's a gift.
Truly, I am. It's the first time ever, I think, maybe in her history of our friendship, showing up early and not 3 hours late, or not at all.
Let's not dwell in the past.
Okay, we won't dwell. Let me tell you about Jasmine. Okay, Jasmine is, I didn't name your business, but I named what you do, and you just had to say it to me, so you say it again.
Sage Hands Meditative Bodywork.
Meditative Bodywork. God, that does sound good.
Yes, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You should actually come.
I know. I haven't done it yet.
With me.
I mean, I know I should, but it's getting Reiki or getting massaged or doing a guided meditation with one of my closest friends. I feel like I'd giggle. Not that I don't take you seriously, but that I would be really vulnerable because you're one of my closest friends. It would make me feel like super vulnerable. It's a vulnerable thing.
It is.
I'm a little bit too much of a chicken to have one of my closest friends do that.
I think we should try it out one day.
It doesn't help that every time you tell me we should try it out, it feels like you're asking me to have a threesome with you. It doesn't help that when you lock eyes with me and you're like, every time you bring this up, you're like, I think we should try it. No. And you say it in this way that makes it even scarier.
No, but I realize, okay, you know me enough to know I'm more of an introvert than I am an extrovert. Mm-hmm. And it's like normal engaging with people, like small talk stuff, I suck at. Mm-hmm. So the beautiful thing about having this practice is like I get to eliminate all of that, and like as soon as somebody comes in, it's like, tell me who you are and who is it you desire to be. Like you're safe to like, let's just go there. Damn. Let's like just get naked in every way. Yeah. And I love that because it alleviates all the awkwardness for me. And like I said, my biggest goal is to create a safe space, a space that is like entirely rooted in love. So the fact that you said it kind of feels like a threesome invitation that checks out. That checks out. But it's not sexual, guys. It's not.
Don't get weird. Don't be sliding
sensual, not sexual.
Okay, still that once again sounds like you're trying.
It's a like sensory experience.
I get it. All right, fine. Maybe. I'm not convinced yet, but I send people to you all the time because I believe in what you're doing. And like really even just now when you were explaining it, I was like, yeah, it's beautiful what you do.
Thank you.
I feel like it's transformational work, and like it helps people get to better places. And so that's like the work of life right there. Like, and I do the same work as you basically. Like that's what I'm doing with women when I'm styling them, helping them transform the way they see themselves and the way they move through their world via their clothing and personal style. And it's fun.
We should do a trade.
Oh God, I'm not ready.
Okay.
Maybe
we can get Kristen in first.
Kristen will do it.
Okay.
Kristen's all for being butt naked in front of her friends. It's her favorite thing. I don't mean like the literal butt naked. Like she's just like, let's go. Right. I'll do anything. You know. Right. I'm a little bit more like, I don't know.
Which is so fascinating.
I know. You're too close to me. I could have a complete stranger do it, which isn't, I know, ridiculous.
I'm not going to lie. My feelings were a little hurt. Granted, I know like Kristen facilitated it, but I did see it on Facebook. I'm not going to drop any names.
I know. I did get massaged by Tanaj, who is also somebody that's been on this podcast. It was a birthday present. I didn't plan it. She planned it. But it's because she had gotten a deep tissue from Tanaj like a while before and was like, you've got to get one. So that's why she did it.
I got you.
Also,
but even though I did feel a certain kind of way, I do want to like do a session with her. I am like, I was a little slighted, but I'm also intrigued. No, Tanaj?
Oh yeah, she's incredible.
Okay.
No, she's so good.
Okay.
And surely you guys have a lot of overlap in what you believe and how you practice. Okay. It was such a beautiful, beautiful massage. But it's not like, you're doing a totally different thing. And that's the other thing is that it's like Kristen just got me a massage. Like what you do is like so, as you just said, it's a very different thing. Like you're touching people, but you're not. It's not just that.
Right.
It's about the whole thing you've made, right? It's this like energy transference. Yeah. So it's totally different thing. So I think that if Kristen just wanted to get me a massage, that's what she did. You know.
I got you.
So don't take it personal.
Okay, I won't.
Take it a little personal because you do sound like you're proposing me for a threesome every time. Okay, we'll move on. Okay, other things you should know about my friend Jasmine Johnson. She's an actress. She's got great hair. We went to high school together at Cabrini. That's where we met. We were both student council kids. We were both...
For a time.
Yeah, for a time till we both separately got kicked off.
What did you get kicked off for?
We can talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
You didn't know that I got kicked out?
What did you get kicked out of student council for?
For listening to my headphones at lunch. Can you imagine taking away an opportunity from a teenage girl because she listened to music during her break in the middle of the day? This is like how I know, isn't it so foolish? At the time, it was foolish. But Jasmine,
mine was valid.
But Jasmine, we were bad. Okay, the headphones for them was the thing they caught me. They caught the headphones. They caught the headphones, and that's what they nailed me with. They nailed me with headphones at lunch, but we both know that you and I were part-time.
We were not bad. We were anti-establishment. That is difference. True. There was intention behind our rebellion.
Yeah, we were anti-establishment. We were anti-establishment, dude, but we were also running the establishment.
We were trying to.
I mean, we were running
the principal and the president got involved, and they were like,
I don't think so. This is not Jasmine and Mary school. Dude, that is so true. We were just like rebels. Like when they would tell us stupid shit, we'd be like, no. Mm-hmm. We'd be like, why? So a story that I am desperate to hear your version of and your telling of it is at Cabrini when they switched our delicious lunch provider. Let me tell you guys a little bit of New Orleans history. Cabrini High School, where we went to school, founded in 1906. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, do you know that?
Mother Cabrini opened 52 hospitals, orphanages, and schools across our great nation, and she lived to be 52 years old. And one of those establishments was Cabrini High School on Esplanade.
We know where we came from.
Yes, the Moss Street building was added in the 70s, but the original building that's located on Esplanade is originally an orphanage. It was run by nuns, and there were girls there. And then it became a girls' school, and that's when we went to it. And I was giving you all that backstory as a joke, and I got carried away. But what were we talking about?
I'm curious. How much of that was actually accurate?
All of it.
Okay. The dates and everything?
Yes. Thank you.
She paid attention.
Yeah, I did. Every year they quizzed us on Mother Cabrini history. You had to take these tests.
I know. It sounds familiar. But if we were on Jeopardy, don't rely on my memory.
If anyone would know on Jeopardy, it would have to be you.
If someone was like, okay, it was a hospital, it was a disco rink, it was an orphanage. Orphanage sounds right.
They don't give multiple choice on Jeopardy.
I know.
That's like Family Feud or something.
Okay, Family Feud.
I don't know if that's quite Family Feud. Anyway, so Cabrini. I was telling the history as a joke because I wanted to say the history of our food. Cabrini pre-Katrina had the most dope lunch program because it was just like a family, like this guy, I'm pretty sure it was a dude who like ran our kitchen, or maybe it was a woman. A real life person made our food every day at Cabrini when we first started going there, and it was good food. Like it was New Orleans food. It was on Wednesdays we got chicken in a box. Do you remember getting chicken in a box on Wednesdays?
I don't remember chicken in a box.
And on Fridays we got Domino's.
Wow.
You don't remember all of this?
I know it was better before Katrina. That's all I remember.
Well, then you led a literal coup after that, so I figured you.
I know after Katrina it was.
Okay, so what they did to us after Katrina, they switched our lunch program to Sodexo.
Yeah.
And we were all so upset about it. And
it was like prison food.
It was like
it may have been like a notch above,
but I mean, I'm pretty sure Sodexo also supplies to prisons, so it's that like.
It's like in a.
Okay, so you formed a protest.
Yeah.
You want to talk about your protest?
So
now that I've set the stage.
Now that we've set the stage, so I got everyone. That was just a senior class. Got everyone to pitch in a few dollars. My mom, Lucy Johnson, she might be a little intimidating, but she's a true G. She left work. She went to Domino's and picked up, I don't know how many, at minimum, at least 20 boxes of pizza.
Oh, it was more than that. It was like 50 because you were trying to feed the whole class.
That's true. And so when the pizzas arrived, they told us we couldn't have the pizzas inside because it was like disrespectful to like the lunch. Yeah. So we had to go outside. We had a couple people in the class who didn't participate. We had a few people go rogue. But by and large, it was like 98, 99%
it was most
of the class.
Us.
Yeah. It was like maybe like 2 or 3 people who didn't participate. But we had this like massive pizza party outside. And it was glorious for like the 35 minutes that it lasted. And then I was promptly called into the principal's office. And there ensued just a litany of consequences and reprimands between the disciplinarian and the principal and the president of how deeply I had wounded our lunch staff and how much food had gone to waste. I was responsible for like organizing a food drive for, was it Second Harvest? Second Harvest. The thing is, which is kind of sad to say, I don't know if I had already been removed from all of my extracurriculars.
Yeah, because you had gotten in trouble before that.
Right, because I was charging people to do like assignments for them.
Yeah.
And somebody ratted me out.
Yeah, Jasmine was getting paid to write term papers and stuff.
She
is an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur.
I was just trying to, make a way out of no way.
Come up. You were also so smart and you could do that. You were bored. I think that's a lot of what it was. It was
you
just,
were bored. I need something else to stimulate
You were bored. You were doing so well. You were one of the top performers in our class.
Yeah.
And okay, this is the thing that I remember.
It was a run because it was like, I think earlier in the year I was 3rd. And by the end of the year I was just kind of over it. And I think I finished 5th in the class.
Right. Out of 120 something kids. And you were really high up there. I remember you being really high up there. And I remember, I don't know if this was actually a consequence or not, but I remember that they had told you if you were valedictorian or salutatorian, you wouldn't be able to be valedictorian or salutatorian. Like you wouldn't be able to give a speech at graduation.
Probably something that was said. I know that for sure. Like they kicked me out of like National Honor Society.
I remember
that. Basically all extracurriculars that I was involved in. Which is like, I think in hindsight,
what a dumb thing to do to a kid.
It was like, I realized like as I've gotten older how traumatizing that was.
Truly.
Like it was very much like when you step out and you try to speak up for better, there will always be someone there who will take everything from you. Mm-hmm. Always know that like there is this power structure that at any moment can take it all away.
The punishment you received for that did not match even close to what you had done.
Yeah.
And that was the experience in that entire education. Now, that said, we know each other because of Cabrini, and we have so many like beautiful. My education exists because of that school in so many ways. Well, because of my parents who sent me to that school.
Right.
But at the same time, like I talk about that and I think about it all the time. I think about the little injustices where they treat teenage girls like they are chattel. Or, you know what I mean?
It was this very like, I don't know, dare I say militant structure, just from how we dressed to hair to jewelry to what was allowed on our fingernails,
it got
our
strict.
Socks, our shoes.
Oh my God. Well, when we first started, we could wear jewelry, we could wear whatever socks.
Right.
And then we had whatever backpacks. And then like as we stayed there longer, our backpacks became uniformed, our shoes became uniformed, our jewelry became uniformed, our undershirts that we wore under our white shirts are uniformed. Literally down to every identifying thing, anything that would give a kid some semblance of identity.
It was like, nope.
It was taken away from you in this schooling. And I believe uniforms are a good option, but the way it's done at these schools is so, I use the word egregious so much, but it's egregious. It's unnecessary. Like, why did we have to be so the same?
Right.
Truly, we were very different people, and that's what they always stripped us of.
Yeah. But I think the beautiful thing about our class in particular, and I don't know because we were just in it, I don't know, something felt very special about that collection of young women. We were all like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you could write up as many like detention slips as you want. I'm gonna be me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like.
Well, that was true for us for sure.
But that's like we had like
Who are you thinking of when you say that?
Like, I'm thinking of like Spencer.
Oh, Spencer!
Even like Brittany
Scandaliato, yes. And these are all people, well, Spencer not so much, but Brittany Scandaliato, small business owner, works for herself, does her own thing, super creative. You and I, same vibe. It's like we were all people with these like fierce creative lights that had a great energy, and we were able to like harness it. And thank God we were able to do that like outside of that militant environment.
Yeah. But it was, I learned a lot. I'm grateful. I will never I wouldn't trade just the community for anything. But you know, parents, be mindful of where you send your children. And really like be intentional about fostering their creativity and fostering their individuality.
That's the thing.
And just be mindful of institutionalizing them. Whether that's with religion, whether that's with education, whatever it is.
And you were institutionalized.
Oh, deep. As soon as I came out the Kudaket.
Southern Baptist, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know if there's a difference between Southern Baptist and regular Baptist.
It's a deeper kind of energy.
Yeah, Southern's more intense.
Yeah.
So you were the most intense type of Baptist.
Yeah, it was like when I was a kid going around handing out like tracts. It was basically like, if you died today, would you go to heaven or hell? If you don't believe, like...
How old were you?
I was literally born. I grew up in the church.
Yeah.
It's
what church did you go to? Do you want to say? You don't have to say. You don't have to say.
Granted, we already like put Cabrini out there.
What is Cabrini gonna do to us?
I think about
what is Cabrini gonna do to me? They won't have me at a career day. I own 2 businesses, have a podcast, have been working in film, have they ever asked me to come speak? No, because I'm gay. Also, because the one time they asked me to come speak, I was speaking because I went to Cabrini College, and I was there to talk to the girls about the scholarship that I got to go to Cabrini College, and I told them they didn't need to go to college. So I think that's why I've never been asked back, because when I was a shitty 19-year-old,
you don't fit the agenda.
I told a religion class at Cabrini, college might not be for you, and that's okay. Which you can't say that at a Catholic high school in New Orleans, because they are all about those numbers. Yeah. They are like, how many of our girls can we say? How many scholarship dollars can we say that our girls got? Like, you cannot say that to a group of Catholic high school girls.
Where were we? I lost.
We were just talking about your little pizza party protest.
And then church,
And then church, we were talking about church. So a thing from growing up with Jasmine is that because she grew up in a really religious family, like, you just had so many more restrictions on you than the rest of us. Like, you were the kid that had an overprotective parent.
Yeah. And I'm grateful for it. You know, nothing crazy happened to me.
No, yeah.
So there was definitely a benefit.
Except that one night you guys got the Canal Street Hotel.
But still, nothing happened to me.
If y'all ever see the Canal Street Hotel, you can see it off of the interstate, like before you hit the dome on the left.
Just looking at it today tells you everything.
Yeah, today it's an empty shell covered in graffiti. Like, all the doors are busted open, all the windows are busted open. But just 15 years ago, literally, it was not like that. It was a hotel that, did you rent? Somebody rented it.
I feel like it was like a group thing.
A lot of people lied to their parents. A lot of people lied to their parents to get a hotel room, and it was not a safe hotel for a bunch of teenage girls to be at.
We had a couple guys. We had some of the guys there. Was that after our time?
I don't remember. I didn't go. Okay. And then that place was condemned like a month later.
Yeah. Trust me. What you see today is not far off from what we experienced 15 years ago. I think somebody like OD'd in the lobby that night.
Yes.
It was wild.
Yes.
It was wild.
I don't know what y'all were thinking.
Safe. We were fine. We had a great night. And I went to church the next day.
You did not.
No, I did. Carl
Harrison.
and Jonathan brought me to church the next day.
Aww, amen.
Yep, hungover, eyes bloodshot, looking at hot nuts.
So, okay, I think I know the answer to this, but would you ever send your kid to a Catholic school?
No.
Why not?
I want them to be in a space where they feel entirely free to like discover who they are. I appreciate the convenience. We had the conversation about having a uniform. I appreciate the convenience of a uniform. But I want them to feel safe to mess up. and to not feel like, oh, if I don't perform all the time, if I'm not always adhering, then I'm not worthy, then I'm not good enough, then I'm not worthy of good things. So I don't think so. I don't think. And then also just from a religious standpoint, I don't want them to be in a space where they are like enforced to like digest that doctrine. Yeah. So no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I knew you'd say it better though. What else do you want to talk about?
I don't know. What do you want to talk about? How are you balancing? I know today you said has been a very like eventful day.
Yeah, so eventful, yeah.
How are you balancing now that you have you're a multi business owner?
I know.
How are you balancing everything?
Today I hired a personal assistant.
What? Oh, you big time in. You got employees? Okay. She got payroll?
But hold on. First of all, it's a 17-year-old Franklin student.
Hey, it counts.
And I technically haven't hired her yet. She's coming on Friday to chat with me, but I will hire her if she wants to do it. So that's going to be one thing, is I'm going to get a little bit of help.
Okay.
Another thing that helps to do all of these things is I have a really incredible partner. Like, we actually are in a very, like, our relationship's really collaborative. Mm-hmm. Like, we work together, we live together, we love, like, and I'm really blessed to have that. Like, truly, it's like everything's a little easier because I have her.
Yeah.
And then also I don't do anything alone. Like, I have Carrie here, and like I have so many friends that like are just in my corner, whether that's like when I'm having like stressed moments about work and I can call them and like process it, or if it's just like to collaborate literally with, like, I do nothing alone. So that's a really big way that I'm able to do it all, is that I've got a community of cool people and a great partner. And I think I'm just a little cuckoo, you know, like I think I just like being a little busier than most people.
I got you. And I think for me, that's the like one, I know for sure I really need to be more intentional in like building community in terms of like on the back end. But also it's like, I'm not a doer. Like, doing shit does not make me happy.
Yeah, like, you are not a doer.
I'm a beer.
Yes,
It just like I just want to be and gaze into the clouds.
I'm a bee. I just want to be.
And if I can like, spread some love throughout the course of the day, then great. So I think that's been trying to build Sage Hands and kind of get it off the ground. It's sort of like this very much is like conflicting energy of like, I so love having the opportunity to do this work, and I so love being able to make the connections that I've been able to build, but it's sort of like I just wanna it's pressure, it's schedules, and it's like legal stuff, and
it's a lot of executive tasks. It's a lot of administrative work. And I get it, because that's the stuff that really I struggle with so much. Because I have a lot of big ideas, and you're the same way. But it's also the actual, like, follow-through of those things. That's why I literally collaborate with people all the time, is because I just can't do it alone. It's really hard. But people do it alone all the time. Yeah. And, like, you can do it.
I wouldn't recommend it.
No, I wouldn't recommend it. But you can do it. You are doing it. The other thing is 6 years into small business owning, like, it's gotten harder and easier. Okay. All the things that are hard to you right now will get so easy. And then as it goes, bigger things will come up. And that will be really hard. And then you'll get through that big thing. Gotcha. And then like everything that comes your way eventually will have already come your way at some point. And you'll have the answers, and you'll be at the top of your game. And everything will be easy. I'm in the part where a lot of stuff that used to be really hard is really easy. But now I have these big hard things. That are like overwhelming, But I know that the thing that keeps me moving is like, eventually these things won't be hard. Yeah. I've just never done them before. And like, once I do them and get the experience, it'll be easier. And it'll be the same for you too. It's just right now you're like getting in a routine and like getting your clientele built up. Like, you're still doing the beginning work, which is a lot of like scraping. It's a lot of climbing at the beginning. It really is. That's why people say having a small business is not for the faint of heart. Yeah. Because it's a lot. And your ego on the line, too. Because if you mess up, it's personal, you know? And it doesn't need to be, but it is, because it feels personal.
And I think of like making the shift from like acting to like being a small business owner. It's like you really love just like
doing it on your own,
dangling on a cliff.
Yeah, just stressing out all
just
the time.
like, oh dear God, please let it work.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that I'm so grateful for, like you were saying, with Mary's Rack, is just rack, singular, rack.
Jasmine's one of my oldest friends. She doesn't know the name of my business. She didn't know how to podcast until today, I guess.
That's not true.
Or until I asked her the first time to come on.
That's true.
She didn't know what the podcast was called.
That's true.
See, friendships can all look different, y'all. Oh, this funny thing happened where I feel like I should just share this because it's funny and I think our friendship is really unique and special, and like people probably have friendships like us and they don't realize how special they are. But Jasmine bailed on my birthday party while it was going on a few weeks ago, and she's all sore I'm bringing it up. But she texted me like this big long thing of why she was bailing, whatever. And I saw it and I forgot about it or whatever. And then I called her today and I was like, hey, I need you to be on the podcast today. And I was like, oh, did you think I was mad at you because I didn't respond? And she goes, kinda, yeah. And I was like, I am mad at you, but that's not why I didn't respond.
She left me on red.
I left her on red. But I have an understanding of you and you have an understanding of me.
Yes. But life lesson. Know when you need to choose you. No matter how much you might need to love somebody. No matter how much you love somebody else.
This is Jasmine's way of explaining why she wasn't at my birthday party.
I'm saying.
She chose herself on my birthday. Jasmine's like, you know what? Sometimes I have to come first.
Look, somebody need that word. Someone needs to hear that word. That my energy that day was like,
I don't care.
Not see.
Listen, I don't care. It's okay. I know you would have had a wonderful time if you had came, and that's the only thing I'm sad about.
I know.
And I told the pizza party. I told the pizza party story in your absence. I've got it perfected though. I'll teach you the way I tell it, and you can start telling it that way. Yeah.
Okay. Well, why didn't you just tell it now?
Because I genuinely wanted to hear like what your memories of it was. And
but that's another thing. Like my memories are like.
Okay, but I had a sinking suspicion, Jasmine, that you, when we were going to talk about this pizza story, I was like, I wonder what Jasmine is going to be able to remember and articulate, because it would, like you said, that was really traumatic. Mm-hmm. Like. The aftermath of that was, I remember it so well. Like, you were the fall guy for that. Like,
I don't even know how Madeline, I forgot about that. Madeline somehow got wrapped up in that.
She got wrapped up in it. But you were really the fall guy. I
don't even know how that happened.
But you were really the fall guy. Yeah. You took the hit, bro. Yeah. You took the hit hard.
But I was responsible. If anyone was going to take the hit, it should have been me.
But it was traumatizing and unnecessary.
It was a lot. Yeah. Even like that followed all the way to graduation. Yeah. Because I don't even know what the technical verbiage is surrounding like cum laude and magna cum laude. Right. But who was I don't know if it was Miss Ratman that was reading it or whoever was reading it out. They like said it wrong, and it was like, you've taken everything away from me. You can't even like honor my academic achievements on my graduation day. Oh, like y'all are like trash. Yeah. No offense, all love.
I mean, all offense. All offense. We were traumatized from literally you guys being bad leaders. Like, do better. Do better. We're teenage girls. Do better. Yeah. It would, like, truly. Right. What did we get out of that? All I got out of it is that authority will punish you if they hit their ego. They had their ego, battered that day. The school did not think that we were capable of throwing a food protest, which is, of course, it's silly, you know? Like, but that's where kids become activists, right. You know, as in high school, you start caring about something. Right. We thought it was such a shitty thing that our school got rid of our delicious food and got us this like cardboard, you know. Anyone that's had Sodexo lunch food, I think, knows it's cardboard. So it is, yeah, at the end of the day, was it silly that we threw a protest over the lunch changing? Maybe. But it really mattered to us as kids. Yeah. And what did they teach us? They taught us, if something really matters to you and you want to protest or have change, you will be punished for it. Like, we will punish you. We will not even listen to you. Like, if I had a student do that, I low-key right now would be like, yo, that's pretty impressive that you organized this. Right. That you talked to everyone in your class and got, like, $2 from all these people. And then you got your mom in on it. Like, that's impressive. Yeah. Like, that's beautiful. You have always been a doer. You have been a doer. But you got fucking hold on, this is like therapy.
Okay.
You got slapped on the hand so hard you stopped doing.
Wow.
Don't let those oligarchs hold you down, Jasmine.
This is like a real aha moment.
Okay, all right. Another story that we have to tell from high school. This can just be an episode of
gonna
high
be
school
Sister
stories.
Alice?
I don't know. Sister Alice.
Okay. Is she still alive?
I ask myself that every day, Jasmine. I don't know. I feel like I might have seen that she had passed, but I also don't know if that's true.
Okay. If anyone out there is watching who currently attends Cabrini,
I'm sure some Cabrini people are going to listen to this, especially once they find out that 2 Cabrini people were shit talking Cabrini. We're going to get some sort of like cease and desist or something in the mail,
Sure.
even though we're not lying about anything.
What happened with 5 women when we were doing 5 women and they were, was it like something we said?
Oh, that was the Arguses. That was the Arguses.
That wasn't Cabrini. Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't Cabrini. That was a whole other betrayal that I experienced. That was my big betrayal. Okay, when we're gonna take a break, but after the break, I want to talk about Sister Alice.
Okay.
We'll be back in a second. Hello, it's your host, Mary Jacobs. I'm sitting here with my producer, Carrie Mulder, and we are so excited to be bringing you Planet Nola this episode and every episode. We really believe in this podcast and the work it's doing in New Orleans to build community, to reach out to people, and we really love what we do.
Yeah, we love our guests. We love our audience, our listeners. We love each other. It's just a big love fest.
So if you love this podcast and you believe in what we're doing, it would mean the world to us if you considered subscribing to our Patreon. We've just launched it. The lowest tier is $5, and we are just really trying to get this podcast to pay for itself a little bit, maybe support ourselves just a little bit more. We're both creative people who have a lot of projects, and this is a big one in our lives. And there is bonus content.
Yeah, it's really fun. It takes a deep dive into the episode, kind of circle back to some of the topics. They've been fun.
Yeah,
Super
we basically record with the guests as soon as we're done their episode and do a more candid version of their podcast. It's shorter, but it's more self-effacing, and it feels like just real, you know?
It's BTS, behind the scenes.
It's the BTS. So if you want more Planet Nola content, you could subscribe to our Patreon and get it. It would mean so much to us. So, okay, we'll let you go back to your episode now, but please consider.
Thank you.
Bye. This episode of Planet Nola is brought to you by Vitality Community Fitness. Vitality is a functional training gym located in Metairie, Louisiana. And at Vitality, we focus on members as individuals. That's right. We don't lump people together. We don't assume that everybody has the same goals when they step into our gym. We also don't push things like body ideals or diet culture. We try to focus on the full person, and we try to give an experience that matches that. We've got incredible coaches. We've got an incredible community. And if you're looking for a place to call your new gym home, consider checking us out. We offer a 3 free class trial. That's right. Literally no commitment. You can try 3 of our classes in a week to see if our gym is for you, because ultimately we want people who want to be there. And if it sounds like this might be the space for you, please consider checking us out. You can go to vitalitycommunityfitness.com, click the contact button, and get started. Hello and welcome back to Planet Nola. I'm here with Jasmine Johnson, my friend from high school, olden days. We've just been talking about high school. Hope you guys are loving this. Before the break, we were going to talk about Sister Alice a little bit.
Good old Sister Alice.
Okay, Sister Alice's, we had religion class in Sister Alice's class 2 years in a row. Okay? And Jasmine and I, together, are a dangerous pair. Okay? We are bad. We were bad. You don't want to say we're bad, but we were bad.
Okay, when it came to Sister Alice, sure.
Okay, do you want to talk a little bit about Sister Alice's class?
I'm gonna let you take the lead on the storytelling, because I feel like you would definitely do it more justice than I would.
Okay, what's a story you remember from Sister Alice's class?
Of course, the shoe stealing story, and then eating. Like I was always eating, and just obnoxiously eating.
One time, we snuck catering trays full of mac and cheese. They were left over from like a club or something.
Yeah.
And the thing about it too is that we were bad, but we convinced all these good girls, these girls that would never be bad, in each of these classes to go along with all of our bad kid things every time. It was like mob mentality. Like, I understand what that means now, because a lot of those girls would never have been as bad as us. But you better believe everybody took that catering tray when it got passed to them, and everybody had a little bit of mac and cheese off of it. Do you remember that?
Yeah. It was just, I think we like, especially in her class, like that, what would be like the best equivalent of just sitting through a straight religion class with Sister Alice?
She just talked and talked and talked. And then when she didn't talk, she'd play a movie. And she didn't know how to work the VCR. So occasionally we would just press like pause on the VCR. And that would keep Sister Alice busy for like 10 full minutes so we could all just talk.
We gave her a hard time. We gave her a hard time.
Do you remember the lights?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you tell the light story. I want you to tell a story, Jasmine. Don't make me tell all the
I
stories.
told the pizza story.
Tell the light story.
So, and back me up on details.
Okay.
So there were 2 sets of light switches in
Sister
the classroom.
Alice only knew about one.
Right. One was like right by the main door, right? And then there was one on the like back wall where we would sit.
We sat next to the light switches, Jasmine and me. Sometimes it was me and then Jasmine.
So like randomly throughout the course of the class, we would just flick the light switch. And she was so like
in touch with God.
But also just like she was so easily frazzled, and like so just delicate. Like everything was like immediately at 10. It was just like, oh. It was just, I don't know. She just had her own way of just.
And she would be like, I guess it's the Lord saying hello. Also, the other thing about Sister Alice is she like was Australian, but she lived in Zimbabwe or someplace, but she grew up in London. So her accent was the most interesting. To this day, I have never met anyone with an accent like Sister Alice.
It's like I couldn't envision a more like quintessential Catholic schoolgirl religion class experience.
Absolutely. That was Sister Alice.
It was like they saw her and was like, you're hired. I don't even need to see your resume. You got the job.
Looks alone, you are a religion teacher. Yeah, you're not wrong. But she didn't know about the other light switch, and Jasmine and I sat next to the other light switch. Now, this is how you know everybody was on team with us being bad. Every single person in that class knew that we were flicking those lights. Every single person. And did anyone tell Sister Alice? No, because they were bad too, but they don't want to admit how bad they were, but they were bad too.
Yeah. Oh, that was.
Do you remember?
And I think also she was so like strict. Like she was, and I think that's why we became more and more defiant, because it was like, look, if you're gonna meet us with this kind of energy, we're gonna double back at you.
It's really true.
So it was like she was like
writing demerits.
Yeah,
and we would steal them off her desk as soon as she could write them. We had like an assembly line. Whoever was next to her desk that day, they know they picked them up, and she had a bad memory, so she never knew. Also, sometimes I would think she didn't even turn them in. Like, I think she would write them, and she would never turn them in. I think it was just like a
scare tactic.
It was a scare tactic, definitely. She would pray for us at the end of the day and throw them in the trash. She was an angel. We really, honestly, were bad kids.
She was sweet. We were
bad kids.
We were assholes in religion class.
The light story's even longer than that, because we did it for an entire 2 years, to the point where Sister Alice, like, notified maintenance. And they brought out an electrician who couldn't understand what was going on. But the other part that cracks me up when you think about that is it only happened in our class.
Right.
And our class was at different times every day. So she never put 2 and 2 together that the Lord was only sending his light messages when we were in class.
Oh, that was a good... Do you want to tell the shoe story?
The shoe story, yes. You tell it.
I feel like you should tell the
it was
story.
Me, wasn't it? All right, fine. I feel like this is going to be me talking. You tell your version of the shoe story. Please, please. Please, Jasmine, talk.
Were you taking shoes off of... Like, we were like watching... That was like a movie day, right?
It was a movie day. Everyone was asleep, and I went around and I took off everyone's shoes, and I put them all in the trash can. And the entire time I was doing it, I was doing this, like, goblin voice. And... I was like, I'm the shoe thief. And I was like snaking along the ground, like taking everybody's shoes off. And to be fair, once again, everyone in class was bad because the people that were awake were letting me take their shoes. And at the end of class, what we didn't think about is our shoes are uniformed. So at the end of class, when everyone wanted their shoes back, no one knew whose shoes they had. It was so messed up. It was messed up. Okay, and then Sister Alice found the shoes in the trash can and me waddling around like a goblin. Teenagers are the worst.
Now, see, we led with all of this other. Now people are gonna be like, "No, you should have gotten in trouble. You should have been in no form of leadership."
We should have gotten in trouble, but we never got in trouble for the right things. Is my point.
That's fair.
That's my point. Anyway, and then I remember Sister Alice picked up the shoes, and she'd be like, "Who did this?" And I owned up to it because I didn't want anyone else to get in trouble. And she was like, "Miss Jacobs, you're going to get a demerit for every shoe in this trash can." And that was like 25 shoes. It's a lot of shoes. And I was like, damn. And I remember she was writing the demerits and she ran out of demerits. And then I didn't get any demerits.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was just,
she just
scare
kissed
tactic.
them. She kissed them, throw holy water over them every evening, and put them in the trash.
We weren't as bad.
No, we were bad.
Story sounds.
No, we were bad. One time I went in the bathroom and there was a pad had come out of the pad dispenser just like sitting in there. So I took the pad and I unwrapped it. And when I came back to the room, I just like threw it in the middle of the floor. And Sister Alice's back was like to me because she was at the whiteboard. And she turns around, there's a pad in the middle of the floor. And I still remember this part so clearly. She bends over and she picks up this pad and it's just out. It's like wings out, big pad from school. And she's holding it above her head and she's like flicking her wrist a little bit like this. And the classroom had 2 sets of desks facing each other. And there's like an alley in the middle. And I just remember her walking up and down that alley, flicking this flying pad, like it could just fly away any minute, flicking it, being like, where did this come from? And that was pretty harmless. So I didn't own up to it and nobody got in trouble because it could have just fallen out of someone's bag. But I remember.
Yeah.
I was genuinely bad, and I should have gotten kicked off student council way sooner than I did. But also, maybe I'm just a creative genius who was too bottled up by the institution.
I wouldn't argue that. Argue against that, rather.
No, you can't.
But it was. I appreciate all the stories that thanks for like being such a great partner in crime.
We were really good partners.
But we
in
also
crime.
did like really great stuff too. Like I forgot about like the Christmas drive.
I didn't forget about that. I spent all my Christmas money on it. We just did it ourselves. We should say this to redeem ourselves. Okay. Tell them about it, Jasmine.
So was that senior year?
Yeah.
We organized this. Well, yeah, Mary funded it. And I don't remember where else. I don't know who else.
We just got money from. We just guilted all of our friends to give us money.
Yeah, and we went. I don't know how many families we got gifts for, but it was a decent amount.
Yeah, it was like me, Jasmine, and 3 other girls from our school, and we just were like, we're gonna get presents for these families. And you got like they were like people from your church or something. Like it was like families that were in need from. You knew them somehow. Right. And so we had like 4 families, and we just scrappy made our own Christmas toy drive. And I gave all of my Christmas money to it. It was like, I remember it was like $100, and $100 in senior year of high school. It's all of my money,
Yeah.
And we went around and we dropped them off.
Homes, yeah.
We dropped them off at their homes.
And there's like photos lurking around.
There are photos of us in these people's homes dropping off presents.
Yeah. So we did, we put our powers to good.
Yeah, we're good people. We were just mischievous teenagers.
Yeah.
We were finding ourselves.
Understimulated, I think, in a lot of ways.
I think 150%. That is what it is. We were 100% like, a little smothered. Like, we had so much energy for like to do things. And if our school had a little bit more resources to offer us for what we wanted and what we were good at, then who knows?
Yeah.
I like who we are, though.
Yeah, I love myself.
Do you know a thing that I also think about our Catholic education is that they didn't really foster girls to leave Louisiana.
Not at all.
And in our graduating class, there was 3 or 4 of us that left the Gulf South, and it was me, Jasmine, our friend Rachel, who also sat at my lunch table, and someone else we know. Was it just us 3?
I thought like Kayla, Chris, who was valedictorian. Or was
didn't she go to like LSU or something?
I thought she was somewhere in Texas. I don't know.
Oh, okay, maybe, but Texas. Like, you went to California, Rachel went to New York, and I went to Philly. Everyone else stayed in Louisiana for the most part. And some people left the Gulf South, left Louisiana for the Gulf South and to, like, Ole Miss and Alabama and stuff like that.
But I think that's also just Louisiana and New
I
Orleans
think
culture.
it is. I think it is. But they really push tops.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure.
And they really did push those Gulf South colleges. And I guess it's because that's who travels to our school. But the thing is other schools, like, their kids went everywhere.
Yeah.
Like Dominican, you know, they had girls that went all over the country. All of my friends that went to other schools, like, they went all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, they were going to college in, like, Ohio and stuff. I didn't even know colleges existed in Ohio. Like, seriously. Because it really wasn't, like, presented to us in a way that I think other kids got it presented to them. And we got out of there.
Yeah.
How do you feel about getting out of there?
Oh, so necessary on every level. Just getting out of my home, getting out of the church environment, getting out of like that Catholic school environment. It was so necessary.
Where'd you go?
Claremont McKenna, tiny liberal arts school in Southern California. I think and I guess we all, to some extent, I'm sure we all had that experience of sort of like being in the college environment for the first time and sort of for me, it was like, whoa, I get to decide my day.
Yeah.
I can show up or not show up.
Yeah.
And it was just having all of this freedom and being exposed to this drastically different world. There was, of course, a lot of like poor decision making of freshman year, but I wouldn't. I think that was the best decision. I think that was the best decision I could have made.
You left like you were like, I'm getting
out
out
I was
here.
ready. My mom still was like, that really hurt my feelings. How excited you are when we dropped you off at the airport. Because I was like, see you when I see you.
What was the biggest like culture shock when you got out of South Louisiana?
Honestly, it was like simple stuff, like seeing mountains every time I walked outside of my dorm. I think also because that school attracted literally students from all over the world, just the cultural experience, and just also anyone who's from New Orleans, from Louisiana, it's a very sort of like concentrated way of existing and way of thinking. It's very sort of like, well, this is what feels normal. This is, you know, what feels right. And it's very consistent. It's very consistent. And so I think just having access to so many different viewpoints and so many different personalities and so many different experiences of life, it opened up my world in so many ways. So yeah, I'm glad I left.
Yeah.
And I would encourage anyone to like get out of, even now, I love New Orleans, but I'm so ready to leave. I'm always ready to leave New Orleans. It will always be home and I appreciate the value of it. But even now it feels like the city is like moving into a different kind of energy that does not feel good in any way. Like I can't stand driving in this city.
Me neither.
It's like I don't understand why literally like chunks of the street are missing everywhere you go. I'm just like, what the fuck are y'all doing? It's just the decision making, where money is going, how it's being invested. It's just I don't get it.
Yeah, they don't take care of us.
And then you really realize the more you travel how tiny New Orleans really is, you know? But I love my city.
I know.
But I am
You've left multiple times and come back now though. Why do you come back?
Financial reasons.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm broke, I gotta go back.
It's cheaper here.
It is cheaper here.
It's cheaper
when
here.
you stay with your mama.
Yeah.
That
And
makes
I
sense.
do it's like I can know for certain, for the most part, I feel like that's also shifting. I'm saying this with a little less confidence, but I can eat here in a way I can't eat anywhere else in the world.
That's absolutely true.
And just like no matter where you go, it's like you're gonna find somebody that makes you like feel like home somehow, some way.
I mean, you don't have to tell me.
Yeah.
There's nowhere else for me.
I got you.
I know what you're saying, and I completely agree with you. It sucks how hard it is to live here, you know? And I know it feels a little cliche to say that, but it is. This city is not supposed to exist. It's going to be eroded off of the map at some point.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
And even if we didn't have an incredibly corrupt government that mishandles and mismanages all of our money, we would still be sinking.
Right.
And we would still be, the coastline is disappearing and global warming is still coming for us.
Yeah.
And like, I think an inevitable reality of living here that I'm kind of sitting with more and more every day is that this place won't be here forever. And maybe in my lifetime or maybe not in my lifetime. But it's like a reality that I want the city to start talking about.
Yeah.
Because it's, and I don't mean to try to save it, because I think it's honestly too far gone. We've neglected our environment for so long now. It would just be putting a Band-Aid on a huge leak. So it feels like almost like when your parents start getting older and you have to have a conversation about their passing or their will, it just feels like New Orleans collectively needs to start having conversations of how we're going to survive the next 50 years, you know, and solutions and ideas and creativity and as much security for the people that live here as possible. You know, what happens if there's another huge fucking storm and all of our properties are worthless? Do you know that there's several insurance companies that no longer will insure Louisiana homes? They just won't even insure a Louisiana home at all. Like, more and more people are just losing the ability to insure their home. So if you can't insure your home, it's essentially valueless. Unless you have cash to fix your home. Like the cost of your home just in the bank and it's no problem for you. So you know what's going to happen is the only people that are going to be able to own homes here are extremely wealthy people. And we know what extremely wealthy people do. They extract. And they're going to extract and extract and extract. And they already are. So, I mean, I'm such a diehard. I have a podcast called Planet Nola. And you know how much I love this place. My whole life I've been a...
And you loyal, Gentilly through and through.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm at. Come see me. Everyone knows that. But it's a sad reality. You know, I hear you. And yeah, the fucking streets suck. And I know everyone says it, and I know it's always been like this. But when you go to another city and you're like, oh, you can just drive.
And I know people talk shit about the West Bank, but like I will give that to the West Bank.
Right. No, you're right. But they have some janky streets too.
Yeah, but it's not nearly the closer you get to
New Orleans.
But yeah, it's just I don't, and like you said, everything that you said is valid. Yes, we're underwater. The foundation was not meant to sustain itself. It is literally vanishing bit by bit. But still, I'm just like, where's that segment of street? Why did you decide to dig up that segment of street? When are you gonna put it back?
A year later.
And why did you decide to do it 20 times on 20 different streets before putting it back on this one? I don't get it. But yet you want to focus on bringing in all this traffic for Essence and for like Jazz Fest and all this stuff. Even this brand new airport. It's
all about that short-term tourism money. That's all they care about, because that lines the pockets of politicians and big business. Tourism is where the money is at. It's not with locals. Locals don't spend money like that. We live, we work, we actually participate in this world. But tourists are the ones that come here and spend all their money. And so that's all they care about. That's all they care about. And eventually, there will be no real culture left. Because all of us won't survive. We won't survive the battering that is capitalism.
And I think like that's the conversation, whether it's because of economics, whether it's because of like environmental concerns. We know there's a timeline. There is a timeline. So how do we preserve as much of that magic that makes New Orleans right now? Beyond just, the stories we have to tell. And we'll have to tell, 20 years from now, 30 years from now.
I just wish we could just pick up everyone and just plop us somewhere further north.
Right.
I just want to pick up, I just want to scoop it up like a claw machine. I want to scoop it up, and I just want to pick up the whole city and all of the people here that are cool. Right. And I just want to place us down somewhere else. Mm-hmm. That's what I dream about. That's what I dream about.
That's all we need.
Because ultimately, there is a lot of magic in being in the river and this tropical climate and all this stuff. Surely that's part of the magic of New Orleans. But we all know the real magic is the people.
Yeah.
So if we could just scoop them all up in a little hand and place them someplace a little bit safer from climate disaster. Just a little bit, mildly. Everywhere, nowhere's really safe anymore. But I think you know what I mean.
But without such an immediate threat.
Such an immediate and terrifying threat.
And even like I feel it, and I guess because it's like we're dealing with the anniversaries of Katrina and Ida, and just the weight that both of those carried. And so it's still like, are we in the clear?
I never feel in the clear. I never feel in the clear.
Yeah.
I never feel in the clear.
And like that's a terrible to say. I'm giving my money to like call this place home. I wake up every day and I fight just to be able to be here and to find my happiness here and to tell my story here, but to still have a part of you that's like, but how long is this going to be here? And am I safe today? Am I going to be safe next week?
Yeah.
Is my home going to be safe?
Yeah.
Is my family going to be safe?
Right.
It's just like, and you know, everywhere you go, there's a story and there's circumstances and conditions anywhere in the world. But,
So you're trying to get out.
I'm trying to get out.
God damn it. Just stay.
I'm trying to.
How are you going to do community if you just keep bopping around?
I know. But you know what? This is how I justified this because I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, my community is humanity. So I'm in community wherever I go. But and even if it's a thing of like working, like scheduling out like half the month here and half the month somewhere else, or like doing a month here, and just to give myself the balance, just energetically, because it's like, and once again, like I said, there's stuff wherever you go. But even now, being a woman of relatively small stature and having to worry about when I step outside, when I'm driving anywhere, I hope nobody carjacks me.
Yeah.
I hope nobody tries to like, I hope, you know, I don't get caught up in some random gunfire.
Right.
It's like, it's at a certain point, it's just not
not
worth it.
Yeah. I don't have that immediate fear that I know a lot of people have. I think it's legitimate, obviously, in our city, but I guess because I'm pretty blessed, knock on wood, to be pretty untouched by violent crime in New Orleans, I don't have the immediate fear that so many other people have. Yeah. And of course, I see the news and I let that get in my head, but it doesn't really sync with me because it's not in my community. Like, or it's in my community, but not directly in my family. It's not affected my close friends. So I'm like very blessed to be in that bubble, you know? But I get why people are afraid, and especially because the way media and news cycles works, it's meant to keep us afraid, because the more we fear, the more we're controllable. Yeah. So, and
even it's like, I don't even, just living in Marrero, and I think it's Marrero. Like just February, teenager was killed literally behind my house.
Oh God, see, that's not the kind of stuff that happens right here.
And like,
people think it does happen right here, but
got you. And then like Saturday, like 3 different rounds of like gunfire breaking out, to the point where it's like I literally hopped out of my bed twice and got on the floor just because it was that close, and I didn't know.
Damn,
so it's
Jasmine.
just like, I don't know if I want to be here.
Maybe you just shouldn't live in Marrero.
Oh, that's I wouldn't advise anyone. No, I wouldn't advise anyone to live in Marrero. But I'm grateful to have a roof over my head.
Lucy, did you hear that? She's grateful. She's mentioned a few times how grateful she is.
I am grateful for all that I have.
For all the blessings.
But, you know, yeah. I just want to feel at peace, and I haven't felt that being here in a minute. Yeah. In a minute.
I don't think I've ever felt fully at peace anywhere, though. Have you?
I think
I don't think I know what that feels like.
I felt it more so on the West Coast.
Really?
I felt it more on the West Coast. I think there's something about like being in the desert, being in the mountains, where it's just sort of like everything just kind of slows down. Yeah. You can actually just sort of like be. Yeah. And then I think it's been a different cultural experience for me being in New Orleans, because to a certain extent, it's like I've always kind of felt outside of the community I was supposed to like fit into. So it's sort of like a lot of like the heart and the soul of New Orleans, it is like in Black community. It's like the party of the second lines. It's, you know, Super Sundays. And it's like I've always like felt outside of that. Exactly. So in a certain way, it's sort of like, I don't know, do I fit here? Yeah. So
you fit here.
Thank you.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. Because, yeah, your family was not the family out there partying for second lines. Like, that's absolutely not the way you were raised. And you went to a Catholic school. That I mean, honestly, Cabrini was probably more mixed than most Catholic schools. But it was still a very white space. All our teachers and administrators were white.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
But everyone's existence here is valid.
Yeah.
And everyone is a part of this community. By the nature of choosing it and living here. And I'm the first one to give transplants hell. Everyone knows this if they listen to this podcast. But my real thing is understanding that being in community is a mental state.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that fully.
And you are in community with the city. Even if it doesn't feel like you're home anymore, you just are. And you always will be, even if you leave.
Yeah.
Just because this is so much of who you are in your story.
I agree with that.
So when you leave, this is why I always tell everybody they're going to come back. You're going to come back.
Yeah.
You know, you're never fully going to be gone from this place.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
It's just not possible. I mean, until it disappears. But
but even like you said, no, I think like even at a soul level, like New Orleans will, of course, always be home. And I love I love my city.
Yes,
I love my
I know
city.
you do.
I just wish, we had a little slightly better infrastructure.
I hear you. Okay, Jasmine, I have one last question.
Okay.
I ask everybody the same last question.
Okay.
Who do you think should be on the podcast?
Ooh.
It could be anybody. They don't have to be big deal. They can be somebody. It could be Lucy.
I'll say Khan. Icon, she's a poet.
Icon?
Yeah. She's definitely someone who inspires me and who I would love to like sit down and like pick her brain a little bit more.
What does she do? Besides poetry, like spoken word?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she's she's very much like a community builder, community activist. Yeah, and she's a phenomenal artist, and she also paints. And she sings. She's
local. She's here in New Orleans. Okay, cool. That's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
You did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, how did it feel?
Not like fine.
We still have to record a bonus episode. Sound
Okay.
good?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you.
I'm
for
so
having
happy
me.
you jumped in. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you for
10 minutes early and everything. Y'all, this is one of my oldest and best friends, Jasmine Johnson, and I'm so happy you've listened. Y'all be in touch. Thank you again to this episode's guest. Planet Nola is produced by Carrie Mulder and Mary Jacobs. If you liked what you heard here, please consider subscribing to us on YouTube or all your social media platforms and pretty much anywhere you get podcasts. Also, if you really, really liked this episode, think about subscribing to our Patreon where we have tons of bonus content from this episode and more. Starts at just $5 a month and it would mean the world to us. Thanks so much, y'all, and be in touch.